We had a couple minutes, so I thought I'd talk that talk. Let's get it. Let's go.
Introducing the Couch Rider Raven Report. Let's go. Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Couch Rider. Ravens, Ravens, hey, Ravens. We gon' ride out. Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Couch Rider. Ravens, Ravens, hey, Ravens. We gon' ride out.
For some of you Twitter gangsters, this is just a hobby, original sports perspective. You can't stop me. Couch Rider Report, it's reflective. Please respect it. You will get checked, and your knowledge will be tested. I ain't the coldest Raven, but this is my show. Shout out to the Barry White of rap for the beat, though. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, it's your Couch Rider Raven. Welcome to the home of original sports perspective, from our couch to yours. Thanks for tuning in to your boy. I had a couple minutes, thought I'd go ahead and chime in because family's in town, and I know I can't do the show tonight, so I thought I'd spend some time with you right now while they are out of the house. That's why you see the backdrop change. I had the idea like seconds ago, and I want to see who's here. Big Reg is in the room. Hey, anybody else is here, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, and smack that bell so you know when it's going down. What's going on, Big Reg? Brooke has made it to the building. Oh, man, y'all are up. Y'all are up. Let's go. We are here. Wilbur's here. Brooke is here. I'm excited, y'all. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing started with our moment of controversy. This one may not be like a big one in your house, but it depends. Depends on the size of family, whatever. But let's see, when it comes to board games, then the player order. Do you go clockwise or do you go counterclockwise? And I know it's the simplest of questions, but it brought up a moment of controversy within the Lockett home. And because one of us is from the South and the other one is from the Pacific Northwest, it caused a problem. Now, I am part of the people who are clinically sane, and we go clockwise. I know that probably looks backwards to y'all, but I don't know if the camera's backwards or not. But the other part of the house, the franchise, she says we go counterclockwise, says that's how she does it in Pacific Northwest. Now, however, we have had in-laws come in and debate that as well, and they have been from the Pacific Northwest. I am curious to hear your opinions on this matter. Oh, Lisa says, how was my 4th of July? Okay, well, while we're getting those responses in, I'll tell you what happened. My crazy son decided to have a Roman candle war with me, and I was thinking, oh, it's going to be cute. It's going to be playing it safe, shoot well above somebody's head, and it'll be okay. Nah. Somebody yelled in the crowd, close the range! And he took it as a full-on order and decided to chase me down with the Roman candle. Not cool, Cameron Lockett. So if y'all see him when he gets on the show, y'all boo him. You give him the hands. This man chased me down. I'm sitting here running down the street for my life as he's chased me with a Roman candle. Madness, I tell you. Daggone Chiefs fans, they got no sense. Can't tell them nothing. Can't take them nowhere. Keep him away from fireworks, daggone pyro. That's how my 4th of July went. No, it was actually overall, it was pretty good. It was a really good time. We had good food, lots of fireworks. I ain't never seen $280 go up in smoke so quick. No, I'm kidding. It was a good time. All right. So tell me, what is it? Yes, I hear you, Wilbur. You're saying go Browns. I don't even know if is Shedeur still on the team. I saw some weird rumor post on Twitter about, or X, that he was going to make a miraculous exit. Not sure. Let's see here. Let's get a message. Yeah. So I don't even know if he's on the team still. Anyway, back to the business when it comes to counterclockwise versus clockwise. Wilbur says no one ever goes counterclockwise in games. Right here, my guy. Yes, sir. And also I want to say, sorry you ended up getting was a 2nd or 3rd place in the contest for your daughter's fundraiser, but you did very well. Y'all raised a lot of funds, so kudos to you, man. I'm hopefully you're able to meet some type of goal, whether it was I want to say it was third place, but you did your thing, man. Nobody goes out for their girls like you do, man. So I appreciate you. Brooke says clockwise. Okay. Yes, clockwise is the way. And yes, shame on camera. Y'all make sure y'all ring the bell, everything. Shame. When you see him chasing me down with daggone fireworks. And I guess he took one to the chest earlier as he was fighting with somebody else in fireworks. It's good times. And Big Red says, just obviously clockwise. Thank you. Oh my gosh. You helping clear up so much right now. I knew it was clockwise. So it's always supposed to be. Obviously clockwise. All right, let's see. Whoever says the only time you go counterclockwise is in a Uno during reverse. Absolutely. I love it. See, that's what I'm talking about right there because that makes sense. That part makes sense. Everything else should be clockwise. Everything else in any other game, unless it says go counterclockwise, you stay clockwise. Tell you, man, we're gonna keep these receipts and we're gonna show these folks here. We took a poll. Lisa says, my dog Angel sleeps through fireworks. Nothing phases her. We feed ours anxiety meds. Well, one of them is deaf. So y'all saw the brow one, Hero. He's deaf. So he ain't nothing bothering him. We have a husky who is she look high all the time. So we don't have to feed her no meds because she's just like, yeah, whatever. And then we have Raven who is scared of everything unless there's petting going on. And so that's when we got to feed the anxiety meds because the fireworks freak her all the way out. Yes. And facts to the clockwise. Yes. Glad we're getting some more votes on that. All right. So now let's go over here to this Ravens linebacker situation. So I was over here scrolling through and I could make this like a what the flock situation. But as I'm scrolling through the We Are the Ravens flock page, I see that Malik Harrison has now got it on his chest that he is going to take out revenge on the Ravens. Like, what? Bro, we gave you a chance. You showed up. And obviously, we don't pay you at the end. We just don't want to pay you. Because you were there for what? Maybe since the Eagles, I think, Week 10 game. And that's all. I mean, basically, you showed up. You helped out. But it wasn't worth a major contract. We weren't going to pay you. So you're going to go and deliberately choose the biggest rival in the league? What type of nonsense is that? In fact, let me read you what he said. This man, and of course, everybody puts out fake news all the time, so I don't know if it's true. It says, they said I wasn't worth the money, that I couldn't lead. So I signed with the team they hate most. I'm in Pittsburgh now, and every snap is personal. Every snap is personal? Bro, we did great things with you, and you're going to sit here and you're going to treat us like this? You're going to treat it like it's personal? You go to Queen, it's basically Ravens, Northeast over there. Ravens Northeast, because we say Ravens North, we already know that's the Jets. But Ravens Northeast in Pittsburgh. Because who they got over there? They got Elliott. They got Queen. They got Malik. The list just goes on and on with these stealing poachers over here who getting our Ravens players. It's kind of frustrating because, these are guys that we love. These are guys that we just knew they would be Ravens. And Malik came and stepped up when we needed him, but obviously it wasn't the number that he wanted to get paid. And so he left us. What are your thoughts on that? Oh, going back again. Sorry, y'all. Catching a late answer to the last question. You only go counterclockwise and sorry. And sorry. Wait a minute. Hold up. And sorry. That's part of the rules. This is news. This actually brings up changes the entire game right now. Hang on. We got a long time listener, first time caller. Tanya Locke is on the show. Yes, honey.
Hey, you're doing the show?
Yeah, just briefly.
All right. Well, I was going to tell you spaghetti works at 5.
All right, cool. I'll be there.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, Tony says hello. That's franchise, y'all. All right, bye. Okay, apparently I have a date. Yeah, so counterclockwise, and sorry, we're gonna revisit this. Matter of fact, we need to start a chat room. We got to revisit this issue counterclockwise and sorry, because that was where the discussion got held. Oh boy, that's trouble. That's trouble, Lisa. Started some mess. Anyway, we are back to this whole conversation of not that one of Ravens linebackers. So when it comes to our linebackers, so of course we have the ones that left, and then we got the one in house. So everybody's been seeing Trent Simpson work out. This dude has just always been an athletic freak. It's crazy. It's amazing watching him and just his athleticism. But we also want to see the mind catch up with the body, because the body is shooting all over the place. It's crazy. I know, pause, but he's flying everywhere, right? And he needs to practice that control and that awareness to be able to take that game to the next level. That's where the difference is between, let's say, where Pat Queen currently is when he was next to Roquan. And he's done some good things in Pittsburgh as well. You guys saw the first game when they beat us. He actually caused the fumble, and he was tackling in open space. Later on, the next few games, not so much. But the point is we need our linebackers that sit next to Roquan to be able to cover in space, cover tight ends, and have that awareness, be able to stop the run just as good as Roquan. And I think if they just give him a chance, I know Teddy's there, but if they just give Simpson a chance, we can have an excellent player in his third season, and really someone who could take over after Roquan is a little bit too slow to keep up, because that guy can track tight ends. Pause. Okay. Big Red says, nope, sorry, moves clockwise. Just looked it up. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, next topic. We'll move it over here to weaknesses. So, of course, on a couple of TV shows, you hear like, hey, does this team have weaknesses? Does this team have a weakness? Do the Baltimore Ravens have weaknesses on their roster right now? It's a really good question. It's an honest question. And honestly, I'm going to give you two positions right now, because of the fact that we do not know what a healthy Jair can do, because honestly, the teams that have had him, or the team that has had him the last 2 seasons, the guys only played 7 games each season. So what does that look like for the Baltimore Ravens? For the corner situation, we got Chidobe Awuzie. Been to a Super Bowl, but lost. And they did okay with him as a corner in Dallas. But this is not a top-tier solution to the problem. Jair could be, but it all depends on if Jair is healthy and ready to rock. So I could consider that position, at least one side of the field, as a weakness. Now, don't murder me on that. I'm just telling it like it is. It could be considered a weakness. The next one, I'm just going to call it out. Daniel Faalele ain't it. He is a big for nothing type dude, and he has been on our hate scale for the longest. We want to see him improve. What he has done is be part of a squad that helped Henry get to 1,900 yards and Lamar Jackson to almost 1,000. It's fantastic. He's part of that crew. But honestly, when you go look at the individual tape, he's constantly looking for work. He is being ran over. He's not got a good footing. He's out of position and using his hands instead of his feet. It is frustrating. I'm calling that a weakness. So if we talk about the 2 weaknesses, I'm saying corner and I'm saying right guard. Yes, we drafted some options, but till camp comes up, those are the options, or those are the weaknesses right now for the Baltimore Ravens. What are your thoughts? Let's see here. Your thoughts are. Oh yeah, stop taking our players, Pittsburgh. Absolutely, tell them. Okay. Thanks, Big Red, for helping me out. Yep. And kicker. There we go. So kicker as well. So we got 3 different holes on this team, and if they get addressed, then we can be an absolute monster. But if we end up losing games because we're missing field goals or our linebacker, excuse me, our running back can't get out of the backfield. If we're losing games because we have an absolute hole at corner on the left side of the field, on the weak side of the field, possibly, then that could be a problem. That could be a major problem for the Baltimore Ravens, and we got to figure out how to adjust. Zach Orr's got to figure out how to adjust, knowing that he can't just put a corner on the island over there on the weak side. Knowing he has to make adjustments and make a zone, and it has to be a good, trusting relationship between the corner and the safety if there's just a good handoff situation there. I'm not going there. This head coach has been there. He's been there. He's done it. And he's more consistent than all these other coaches in the league. I think, other than, of course, the Chiefs coach. But, I mean, look at consistency outside of the Eagles. What do you got coaching-wise? Mike Tomlin, he's a good players coach. He hasn't had a losing record. But at the same time, what else has he done? John's doing just fine. He's rebuilding this monster as is. And I know we can go into how some people want John fired, but you got to think about it. This is the guy who had to make the decision in 2018 to pull the trigger on Lamar, starting, I think it was a week 10. But once he made that decision, he went and tried to get the coaching around him. He had to use some creative thinking in order to get Greg Roman to step forward and take over this Ravens offense, which caused Lamar Jackson to become an MVP. That's coaching. That's kind of pulling that right coach in and put him in the right situation to maximize the uses of the players. Then, we were all cussing about Zach Orr. We were pissed, right? We wanted Zach Orr fired. John pulls in mentors and helps get the strategy together to pull the team out of a rut and make a full-on turnaround. In the second half of the season, this looks like the number one defense in the NFL. John helped us get down the field against the Buffalo Bills. It was Andrew's fault why we lost that game. I know y'all don't want to hear it, but that was Andrew's fault we lost that game, because if we had got that 2-point conversion, we're in there. John Harbaugh is not the problem, folks. John is not the problem. Okay, here we go. Lisa says, will it be Tyler Loop or John Boylan? Yeah, it's going to be one heck of a competition. I can tell you that much. But if Tyler catches on, it's going to be on, man. It's going to be on and pop. So y'all wanted Orr fired. I wanted Zoe as head coach. Look, I wanted Zoe fired. I wanted Zach Orr fired because I was there live. You could see the mismanagement of the defense on the sideline where he was running up to John, begging John for a timeout, and caused a problem in the second half, or second quarter, in the second quarter. You could see that they just did not have the defensive scheme together that game. Everybody was out of place. It was a hot mess. You could see that Pat Mahomes was taking advantage of that down the field. And whoever was in the middle linebacker spot at the time, Roquan was getting destroyed in the passing game because he was busy trying to get everybody in the right spot. Oh, well. All right, Brooke says, people really think the Ravens going to keep a coach for 16 years doing nothing. He did something, right? He definitely did something. Adi says, keep two or three out of Likely, Hamilton, and Linderbaum. Which ones are you keeping? Oh, I get to keep two and get rid of one. Okay, I got a little time for this question. Ooh, Likely, Hammered. This is really tough. This is wow. Man, why you springing this on me at 4:00 in the afternoon, bro? A long day. It really wasn't that long. But I'm just saying, keep 2 out of 3. All right, you got to put anybody else. It's probably the Ooh, this is tough. Okay, look, I mean, Likely a dog, but we still got Andrews on the roster. Ham has Starks sitting there next to him. You want that deadly combo. And then you got Lindy, probably one of the better centers in the NFL right now. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm gonna say Lindenbaum. Lindenbaum, man. Likely too cold with it. I know that not having the right center can screw a lot of things up, but you know what? You gave me 2 or 3. I had to do it. Okay, Brooks says Hamilton unlikely. Okay. Yeah, you and me on the same page. Okay, so Big Red says John Harbaugh called a pass to Ronnie Stanley on the 2-yard line instead of running with Henry. If we get that TD, we don't need a 2-point conversion later on in the game. It was something they put in the game plan. If it worked, we've been yelling, hey, this is the go. This is an amazing play. Da, 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 da. It would have been a miraculous season going down in the books as we go to the Super Bowl, possibly win the Super Bowl. And it just didn't happen. Coaches take chances. If they didn't, they'd be fired. At least it says, I keep John because he won us a Super Bowl. All right. Here we are. Last question before I got to get dressed because I got to go to Spaghetti Works. I don't know if y'all ever been to Spaghetti Works in Omaha, but it is on point. Love it. Get the lasagna. Next. Our final question of the, actually not final question, final topic of the day is 8 more Sundays. 8 more Sundays of no football, folks. I've been a good church member. I've been an okay father, so. But all that ends. No, I'm kidding. It will not end. I will still continue to do what I need to do as far as job, church, family. We're gonna make sure it's all locked down. It's all good to go. But what are you up to in the midst of it? I have been practicing on bowling. I have been kicking butt on cornhole and playing Dungeons and Dragons to get me through this dry spell of the off season that has caused massive amounts of depression. What are your hobbies? What have you been doing? Y'all been watching water polo? You been over here watching WNBA? You been sitting here watching Twitter as people fight and talk about Iran and whatnot? What have you been up to? Tell me about it. Yeah, okay. Lisa said she keep John. She wanted a Super Bowl. Facts. Said if it worked, he'd still be an idiot. You would. Come on, bro. If it worked, if that play worked, you've been like all over this cat. Yeah, you'd be like, pause. You'd have been like John's the greatest. So that was creative thinking. But of course, if it doesn't work, everybody gets to shun it. Y'all like, boo this man. Boo. But if it had worked and we had gotten past the Bills in the playoffs to the Chiefs, y'all have been like, yeah, that's it right there. Like just like when we got beat by the Patriots, but I played with Julian Edelman and I want to say Danny Amendola when it was a full-on quarterback or was a wide receiver to wide receiver pass. That was pretty much the knockout punch for the Ravens after Joe Flacco scores 4 touchdowns. If he doesn't make that play, then of course we're having a different conversation. The Ravens move on. But he made that play. But if he didn't make that play, people be talking about Bill Belichick's an idiot. They took chances, and they made strides in the game. Adi says, what would piss off the fan base more? John here for 5 more years, or John succeeded by Jay Harbaugh, nephew, current Seahawks special teams coordinator, and worked with John and McDonald. Yeah, John, Jim, and was it John and Jim McDonald? The way that these coaches get hired. Because they are a fantastic offense coordinator, because they are a fantastic defense coordinator, and then it doesn't seem to pan out for one reason or another. It doesn't seem to pan out. So if it's not panning out with offensive or defense coordinators, why not go for another guy who has studied the offensive side of the ball, who studied the defensive side of the ball? And I'm not saying study by the plays. They know the strengths and weaknesses of the players better than anyone on the team. And that is a special teams coach, because they got to figure out, how can I utilize this player to benefit my priority, which is special teams. And so they have already figured out how to lead offensive and defensive players, how to make them grind, how to get the best out of them. So hiring another special teams player has a benefit. One, because when they get hired, their focus is not going to be on the offensive or defensive side of the ball. They are going to trust in hiring the best offensive and defensive coordinator specialist. Of course, they might have a focus on special teams, and that's fine. But at least they are trusting in those offensive, defensive coordinators to do their thing. Now, if you hire an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, then you, or if you are that guy who got hired, your focus is your pride and joy. What got you there? You want to make sure that that defense is still rocking the same way that got you to this job, that may have got you far into the playoffs. And so they bought you because they bought that brand of football, and you want to make sure it succeeds. So you might pour in more energy into that defensive position, and all of a sudden the offensive falls off. Or maybe the defense gets worse because you're micromanaging the guy you paid to do a job. Message. Things go downhill, you all get fired. All right, so yes, to answer your question, I would probably go with another special teams guy. So if it was a Harbaugh, okay, Harbaugh's team to win. Message. All right, let's see if Big Greg says, nah, I would have been pissed just like I was when Ray Rice made that big play against the Chargers. I was on Flacco head for throwing that short pass. Yes, we were pretty hot, but it was so glad it worked because that was a playoff ending because we were still in the hunt. Without 4th and 27, or was it 4th and 29? We don't make the playoffs. I think he was down. I think the refs kind of like, hey, he played his butt off. Give it to him. I think he didn't make the marker. I'm gonna be honest with you. And that's non-biased Ravens perspective right there. I don't think he made the marker, but the refs gave it to him, so I'm with it. Ravens got a Super Bowl. Congratulations. Let's get it. All right, we're sitting here at 4:21. You boys got to get going. I got to get dressed because I'm going to Spaghetti Works. And look, I'm sorry I didn't have a late night show with y'all today, but I gave you 30 minutes. I gave you what you needed. Hopefully we have a wonderful week. Hopefully no injuries, no transactions, nothing going on crazy. We know the Steelers are still trying to make transactions, dumb trades out of this world. They're probably going to bring in some dude in a wheelchair who's probably an old school veteran. Maybe they bring Ben Roethlisberger back and have him compete with Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers making a lot of nonsensical moves. Don't be surprised if their general manager gets fired even though he just got a 3-year deal. When things don't work out, it's because Aaron Rodgers and that daggone general manager are both turning this thing into a dumpster fire. And we gonna eat, folks. Not in the dumpster fire though. We just gonna eat because of the way that they treating their roster right now. Thanks for coming through. Let me read these last comments right quick. 4th and 29 it was. There you go. So bye, great everyone. Okay, cool. Yeah, I appreciate y'all coming through, man. Y'all came through on a quick. I was just saying, thinking like, all right, if I do it, they might have 5-6 people show up, but y'all here. I appreciate you coming through. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, the Couch Rider Raven. And make sure y'all, if y'all want to buy the merch, you want to support the channel, you can buy the merch. You can go ahead and subscribe. You can like, do all those different things. And I appreciate you coming through. Thanks for tuning into the home of Original Sports Perspective from our couch to yours. Y'all constantly got me falling off the couch. I'm telling you, I appreciate you. And hopefully during the season, we hear plenty.
Touchdown, Ravens! Let's go.
But until then, y'all stay classy. Thanks for tuning in to the home of Original Sports Perspective from our couch to yours. It's your Couch Rider Raven saying 2 claps. Fade to black.
Introducing the Couch Rider Raven Report. Let's go. Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Couch Rider. Ravens, Ravens, hey, Ravens. We gon' ride out. Ravens, Ravens, hey, Ravens. Couch Rider. Ravens, Ravens, hey, Ravens. We gon' ride out.
For some of you Twitter gangsters, this is just a hobby, Original Sports Perspective. You can't stop me. Couch Rider Report, it's reflective. Please respect me. You will get checked, and your knowledge will be tested. I ain't the coldest Raven, but this is my show. Shout out to the Barry White of rap for the beat, though.